I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like my 8-year-old knows his way around the computer and phone better than I do. Parenting kids these days is probably tougher than at any other time in history. On one hand, our kids have access to all sorts of technology, which can be great when it comes to learning about the world, but on the other hand, they also have access to pretty much anything on the internet, in a way that children didn't in the past. Or parents back then, they didn't have to worry about the type of content that children would come across on the internet when their backs were turned, because it didn't exist. But the genie is out of the bottle and there's no way that he's going back in. As parents, we have to deal with the fact that in order to protect them, we have to monitor and restrict them. And that's a tough one, because we want our kids to maintain a certain amount of independence, but not if it comes at the cost of their innocence or mental health. Children are often curious and can stumble upon content that is just not suitable for their age. With parental controls, we can easily filter out age-appropriate content or age-inappropriate content, such as violence, pornography, and explicit language. This will make sure that our kids' exposure to such content is limited, and it reduces the risk of exposure to other harmful elements such as cyberbullying or online predators, or even signs of phone addiction, which is obviously a big deal these days. But what are parental controls, and what sort of parental controls are available to us? Well, there are various types of parental controls available for different devices, which include things such as content filter. Now, these controls allow you to filter out specific types of content, such as violence, profanity, or explicit materials. These filters can be applied to web browsers, search engines, and even specific apps. The basic versions normally allow you to enable a safe search feature from the settings on your phone or another device. They can, however, be fairly easily bypassed by a more determined or tech-savvy kid. However, there is no getting around FamiSafe app, and you can filter out content from around 19 different categories, such as pornography, weapons, and drugs, as well as set up blacklists and whitelists of the words and websites that you don't want your child to be able to use. This works even in the incognito mode, and it logs all browser history, as well as sends you a notification if an attempt has been made to access a blocked website or blocked content. Now, next one is time limits. These controls allow you to limit the amount of time your children spend on a device each day. You can set up a specific schedule so that access is restricted to a certain time, like after school, or you can set up maximum time limits for usage. Excessive screen time has been linked to various health problems, including obesity, poor sleep, and behavioral problems. By setting limits on how much time your kids are spending on electronic devices, you can make sure that they have enough time for other activities, such as outdoor play or socializing with their friends. Next one is app restrictions. These controls allow you to limit or block access to specific apps. For example, you may want to block social media or messaging apps that your child is being obsessing about. Or you may want to completely block access to certain apps like Tinder or Bumble. FamiSafe works well on Android as well as on iOS, which is sometimes one thing that many apps are not able to do, at least not effectively. Next one is purchase controls. I think we've all found the occasional charge on our cards that we weren't expecting, so having purchase control function can help prevent your children from making in-app purchases or accessing paid content without permission. You can normally find this setting in the Google Play app or Apple Store, where you can set it up to ask for approval for all purchases. Next one is location tracking. Some devices allow you to track the location of your children's device. This can be helpful for ensuring your children's safety and for monitoring their whereabouts. This is important especially if your kids just started venturing out on their own. FamiSafe has this feature with enhanced geolocation with pinpoint accuracy. It also has excellent geofencing controls. This means that you can set up your house, your child's school, or even a local area as the primary location with a geofence ranging from 100 meters up to 1,000 kilometers. That way you'll get a notification if your child leaves the designated area with their phone. Next one is the obvious privacy controls. These controls allow parents to set up restrictions on sharing of their personal information. For example, they may block access to location data or prevent apps from accessing child's contacts. Remote management. Some parental control software allows parents to manage and monitor their children's devices remotely. Now, this can be especially helpful for busy parents who need to manage their children's device usage from afar. Now, next one is a really cool one, drive safety. This is actually a unique feature of the FamiSafe app. It's meant for you to monitor your older kids' driving skills, but it can also be used to monitor anybody else's driving as well. For example, if your kids catch the bus to school or go by carpool and you'd like to know how safe the driver is, then this feature will let you know. It monitors the highest and average speeds. It also tracks any hard braking and speeding. You can set up a speed limit that you don't want your teen to exceed, and if they do, then you'll know about it. I think this feature is a fantastic addition for parents of kids with their first car. Statistics show that teens are 3 times more likely to end up in a car accident than us adults. So anything we can do to minimize this has got to be good. In addition to these specific types of controls, many devices also offer broader family settings that allow you to manage multiple devices at once. These settings may include options to set up multiple user accounts, customize settings for each device, or create age-appropriate profiles for children. For example, FamiSafe will let you monitor up to 10 devices with their annual plan, but unlike built-in devices, it is cross-compatible with iOS and Android devices, meaning you can monitor your child's Android phone with your iPhone and vice versa. I think that most computers and phones come with built-in parental controls as standard these days, and while they're okay, they're still fairly basic. That's why so many parents are actually opting to use specific parental monitoring apps like FamiSafe to give them those extra features and security that you just don't get with built-in controls. Now, where do you start? This is like the first question everybody gives us. Before setting up parental controls, it's important to establish clear guidelines for what your child can and cannot access online. This may include setting rules around screen time, social media use, and types of content they can access. Having this conversation with your kid is key to getting them to recognize that parental controls are there for their protection and not just to restrict them. And while parental controls can be effective in limiting your child's exposure to potentially harmful content, it is still super important to monitor your child's online activity on a regular basis. Look at the activity reports that FamiSafe generates and check in on your kids to make sure that they know the limits and boundaries that you expect from them. Educating your child about online safety and responsible internet use is a must. Think of it like a rite of passage. Just as the time will come for you to have the birds and the bees talk, so too should you plan to have an internet safety talk. This should include talking to them about potential risks of sharing personal information online, cyberbullying, and other online dangers. Sometimes it can be hard to broach these kinds of subjects with your children, especially if they're young and want to know why adults might pretend to be their friends or what kind of content you don't want them to see. Figure out a way of talking in an age-appropriate way with them and tailor it to their age and their needs. They may not need to know everything right now in detail, but keep the lines of communication open with them and updating your chats as time goes on to help educate your child about online dangers as they grow. Alright, that is it from me today. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope that it helps you in one way or another. I'll leave a link in the description below to the FamiSafe website where you can check all of our cool design features that are maximized for keeping your kids safe. And as always, leave me a comment below if you have any questions. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel, press the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!